Or we head for some Florida sun and some American football.
American football, sponsored by Budweiser.
I don't care what you want to do. Let's get tuned up.
19 yards. He makes it. Miami goes home with a miracle win. The Dolphins pull it out. 16-14. Game over. That might be there. It is! Good evening. Those two last-minute field goals put the Miami Dolphins and the New York Giants at the top of their respective divisions coming into Week 14. And tonight, the leaders of the AFC East and the NFC East meet in our main game. The Dolphins at 9-2 have the best record in the NFL, with the Giants tied for second best at 8-3. And really, that's a tribute to the work of two of the game's great coaches. Don Shula, who's had to play 4 different quarterbacks because of injuries this season, and Dan Reeves, who's taken over a shambolic Giants team and restored some discipline and self-respect.
Players are listening to coaches. Coaches are doing a good job, and it makes for happy football players.
So does winning, and without adding much talent, Dan Reeves has turned last year's losers into this year's playoff contenders. No longer locked in a quarterback controversy with Jeff Hostetler, Phil Simms is back in charge of the offense. And charge is what the offense does best. The Giants lead the league in rushing, averaging 141 yards a game. They're just as strong on defense, allowing only 3 rushing touchdowns all season. Not bad for a team that could neither move the ball nor stop it this time last year.
I think it's the little things that teams do that makes the difference from being a champion and being at the bottom of the division.
No one pays more attention to the details than Don Shula. This season may turn out to be one of his best. After a 4-1 start, everyone expected the Dolphins to go the way of Dan Marino's Achilles. But behind the inexperienced Scott Mitchell and some great game planning, Miami played as though losing a legend was something that happened every week. Then Mitchell went down. Shula turned to journeyman Steve DeBerg, 40 in January, and discarded most recently by Tampa Bay. In Shula's scheme, though, he's won 2 out of 2, including a comeback against the Super Bowl champions.
The passing game is the best passing game I've ever been exposed to. The coordination of all the routes and everything are outstanding. No wonder Marino's been the best quarterback in the league for so long.
4-1 with Marino, 5-1 with Scott Mitchell, Doug Pederson, and the oldest quarterback in the league. He's not doing badly, Don Shula, in his 27th year in the league. OK, time for some West Coast perspective. Bob, good evening. These two, Reeves and Shula, surely must be in the running for Coach of the Year.
Well, definitely, but, you know, it's no surprise to anybody that Don Shula has been this great coach for so many years. I mean, he is a guy that has consistently, year in and year out, produced championship-quality teams. Whether they've made the playoffs or not, however the breaks may have taken the team, they have always been a team that has been somewhere near or in contention. So he's the guy. He's going to be the Hall of Fame guy. He's all coach of everything right now. But I think the guy that we got to look at for Coach of the Year is Dan Reeves. I mean, he is the guy who has taken a team that has totally just fallen apart, had no discipline, had nothing, and has turned them into probably the #1 NFC contender for the Super Bowl.
One game ahead of the Super Bowl champions, the Cowboys, in the NFC East. OK, let's go over to Joe Robbie Stadium. Your commentators are Pat Summerall and John Madden. It's the Giants' first possession of the game after a Dolphins punt.
1st and 10, the Giants start off just outside their own 41-yard line. And they start with 2 tight ends, Pierce and Cross. The lone back is Hampton. Sims on 1st down. Aaron Pierce to the Dolphin 36. The Dolphin defensive unit also a bit unheralded, but doing a steady, good job. Hampton and Tillman together in the Giant backfield. Tillman swings in motion. Lures Tillman. Looking for room, couldn't find it.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Dan Reeves was saying last night, that he wanted to be more balanced. And we were talking to Phil Simms. He says they're going to throw some on first down. That's what they did. Then this is their second first down. It looks like Simms thought that Tillman was going to go inside him, and Tillman was going outside him. Tillman thought it was over ball handling. Simms thought it was under ball handling.
In the Dolphins secondary, it's Braggs instead of Oliver. And they'll miss him before the day is over. Meggett goes in motion. Simms back to throw it. Out to Jared Punch, bouncing off tacklers and gets a Giant first down to about the 26. Brian Cox. First down. They put Jackson in motion. The handoff is to Punch. And he perhaps got a yard.
I'll tell you, there's a guy that was a heck of a player that when I was at Oakland, we played so many times when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And in fact, that alignment where the nose tackle, in other words, be number 99 there, the way he lines up, cockeyed. Joe Green started doing that. And you see Chuck Klingbeil doing it right now. You see the guy right there. The way he's lined up. Joe Green was the first guy that ever did that.
This is Meggett. Stopped after he picked up a couple. Inside the 25 to about the 23. Joe Green was telling us yesterday at practice that the reason he started lining up that way was because of you. Because he couldn't stop you.
We used to do some running in there on him. We would get some running, and then they started stacking up him in there, and then we'd have to take two to block him, and then we couldn't block Jack Lambert. So either Green would beat a double team or Lambert would make the tackle, and then we couldn't play pass on Lambert anymore. So it does take away a lot of things.
Third and long. Meggett is the lone setback behind Simms. Simms gets Mark Jackson crossing, and he's thrown backwards by Troy Benson. Not enough for a first down.
I think this is Jackson's responsibility. Watch him. He's up at the top of the screen. Now, as you come across and it's on third down, you have to know the depth. You have to get to a point. The Giants are going to go for it on fourth down.
And going in a hurry, and Simms over the right side gets close, and I think he got it.
Yeah, he did get it, but I think that was a heck of an aggressive play there by Dan Reeves. But again, I think Jackson had to get all the way down to get that first down, and when he doesn't, then Phil Simms had better make a play like this. That was a heck of a block by his right guard, Bob Kratch.
Behind Kratch and Riesenberg, Simms knew where to go.
I think if there's one that's solid or the most solid blocker on that Giant offensive line this year, it's been right guard Bob Kratch.
First and 10 at the 14. The handoff is to Hampton. He's got some room inside the 5. Hampton scores. From 14 yards out, Rodney Hampton puts the Giants ahead.
Hey, listen to this crowd, Bet. There's a lot of Giants fans down here today, and that was a great drive. That's the way offenses in the NFL are supposed to play. It's not one-dimensional. It's not one guy. You mix it up. Watch this. He starts as a draw. That was going to be a play to the left. Hampton makes the cut. He stops and cuts all the way back and goes around the right end.
Great block by Bunch to spring it. Treadwell for the extra point. And a line drive. Didn't look very good, but it was. And it's 7-0. First and 10 Dolphins at their own 39. DeBerg will throw it. Has a man open. Jackson down the sideline. Keith Jackson cut down from behind inside the Giant 20 at about the 17. What a catch and what a throw.
And you see who was covering him. It was Michael Brooks. Well, we talked to Brooks last night. He said that's the thing that he has to worry about. He says, Jackson, if he gets a free release off the line, he said there are defenses that I'm going to have to run with him. He said, I'm going to have to do it. Now, we talked about play pass and DeBerg. Watch how it starts. Watch Steve DeBerg with the great ball fake. See him put that hand in there. Then he brings it out and shows it to you. And then he makes this throw, and again, Jackson makes a great catch, but he has about 2 steps on Michael Brooks.
First and 10. They get to Kirby. To about the 15. Terry Kirby has all the tools. Fumbled a couple of times last week in that snow in Dallas, but he's got all the equipment to be a great one. Here's the bird with time this time. Incomplete. And no flag. There's the flag out of the end zone. Carlton Bailey. Pass intended for Kirby.
There's a lot of pressure on those inside linebackers of the Giants today, Pat, because the inside receivers, Byers and Jackson, are so tough for the Dolphins. We saw in the play before in that big play there. We saw where Brooks was beaten.
Pass interference. Number 54 in the defense. First down.
Well, DeBerg thought there should have been a flag, didn't he?
Well, he saw it all the way. Here's where it happens right here. There's Carlton Bailey, number 54. And again, this is on Byers, and he just grabbed him with the left hand. That's pass interference.
First and goal from the 6.
Berg saw it all the way.
Byers the deep back. Touchdown Dolphins. From 6 yards out.
That's one of the things that they always knew, that Byers was a pretty good blocker, a good receiver, and they're going to run him more. You know, last week he got that 77-yarder. They want to give him the ball more. Here he is. He's a big, strong running back. And see, when he gets the ball, and he doesn't take long strides. He weighs 255 pounds, and he always takes those short strides, and he is very, very difficult to tackle.
Stoyanovich to try to tie it up. Seven.
Time to get back on the top. Give it to him!
Welcome back. After Miami's tying touchdown, the Giants had to punt at the end of the first quarter. At the start of the second, though, the Dolphins had to do the same after this sack on Steve DeBerg. So it's Giants ball.
7-7 tie at Miami's Joe Robbie Stadium. Dave Meggett, the lone step back. Callaway in motion. Meggett gonna throw it. Maybe not. He's got some room. An attempted block by Phil Simms, and Meggett will get to midfield and a first down. A pretty good block by Phil Simms.
That was a good block by Phil Simms. There aren't a lot of quarterbacks that are any age, let alone 38 years old. Watch Phil Simms. First of all, it's a pitch. Then it's going to be a pass. There's no one open. He pumps. Now he comes back. Now watch right there. Boom. Phil Simms get that block, and that block is enough to let Dave Meggett get the first down. That was smart by Meggett. And you know, on a run pass for a running back to throw it, if the guy's not wide open, don't throw it.
At midfield, first and 10. Simms to Hampton. Rodney Hampton almost broken. Picked up about 6. Stopped by Mike Golic. Tripped up by Golic.
And one thing I think is important, especially for the Giants, is to keep players fresh today, because it's 83 degrees and you come from, you know, the north up there, and you're not used to working out in this heat, or you haven't since training camp, and the Giants are going to get tired today before the Miami Dolphins do.
Second and 3. Hampton and Bunch. 5-6. Hampton again. With room. Rodney Hampton. Down to about the 27. He broke that one cleanly. Troy Vincent made the tackle.
It's amazing. He even left his blocker. Watch, Cratch is going to come out here, number 61, and he's going to fall down and not block anyone on this second one right there. You see that outside guy wasn't even blocked? Hampton just ran right by him. Cratch got the first guy, tried to get a second guy, fell down, and Hampton just turned on the burners.
1st and 10 Giants at the Dolphin 27. Score tied at 7. 11:35 left to play in the first half. Megan has replaced Hampton. And Sims, look out. Sims sacked from behind by Marco Coleman. He came around cleanly.
And we were just talking about Jumbo Elliott. You see, here's Elliott. Again, you have to get up quickly. Marco Coleman beats him to the start. See, right now, he's beaten because the ball was snapped. Jumbo Elliott didn't get up. Marco Coleman went right around him. Jumbo was still in his stance.
Looked as if Coleman had the snap count instead of Elliott.
Marco Coleman was one of those guys, you know, that has a lot of quickness. He was a linebacker at one time, and they just made him a down defensive lineman. So he's one of those pass rushing linebacker types.
Second down, they give it to Meggett, who gets to the 30. Stopped by Jeff Cross and Larry Webster.
Yeah, now watch Jumbo here. After that, you know that you've been beaten. You know that you didn't get something, so now you have to go out in the next play, and you have to take it out on the guy. And he says, you made that last one. I don't want you near the pile this time.
3rd and 13. Dumps it to Megan. Megan got away from one tackler, another, and another. Down close to the 20. They get within Treadwell's range.
Bill Sims has done a lot on this drive, Pat, but watch how he adjusts the ball. He had to throw that one to find a gap in that defense. He had to throw that one sidearm to Megan. Of course, it didn't get enough for a first down. Like you said, Megan makes a heck of an effort, but it brings about Treadwell.
Treadwell from 38 yards with Horan holding. Blocked by the Dolphins. And they'll take over. J.B. Brown came in to block it.
Let's your rush here. Mike Horan is the holder. He gets the ball down. The ball is spun. It just looked like he didn't get any height on it at all.
Right.
Watch this. The tackle blocks down. Here's Chris Singleton. He splits that gap. You see, now he's running free. The kick was a little low, and whap, he knocked it right back where it came from.
DeBerg back to throw on first down. Gets it to Higgs. And they get about 7 yards. Stopped by Corey Miller. Higgs. A yard. Greg Jackson up quickly to make the stop.
Yeah, I think the Giants are probably the toughest defense in the league to run against, or one of the toughest to run against. And if you look at Miami today, they're going back to a Dan Marino type offense. They've had 102 yards of passing and only 11 yards of rushing. So part of that is that their passing has been pretty good. The other part of it is the Giant defense isn't allowing many gaps to run in there.
3rd and 1. Myers jumps over the right side and gets a Dolphin first down.
Keith Byers, all those years we saw Keith Byers with the Philadelphia Eagles, and this looks funny to see him in a Miami Dolphin uniform. He had that big run, remember on Thanksgiving Day in the snow, 77 yards. He was there. He said he wanted to make a snow angel at the end of the run, and he was there flopping on his back trying to make the snow angel, and guys jumped on him, wouldn't let him do it.
Here's DeBerg. Outside to Ingram. Ingram knocked out of bounds by Corey Raymond.
I think if you want to know if Steve DeBerg, at 39 years old, the oldest player in the NFL, I think if you want to know if he still has an arm, that proves it. The toughest pass to throw is an out from the far hash mark. Steve DeBerg may be 39 years old, but he still has a pro arm.
He doesn't look it. He doesn't act it. Doesn't throw like it. Higgs over first, over the right side. Not quite enough.
Well, you know, Dan Reeves was Steve DeBerg has had some great coaches. He started out with the Cowboys and had Tom Landry. Said he learned a lot from Roger Staubach. He had Bill Walsh. He had Dan Reeves.
This is something that hasn't always been the case. Before each game, the NFL sends out a representative to check on the shoes that the players are wearing. You know him, John.
Yeah, I do. That's from the NFL, representing the NFL. That's Mike Ornstein. What they do is the players have to use a certain kind of shoes. You see right here, he's checking out, okay, one team's the Giants. They're in blue. The Dolphins are in white. But they have to wear not only, you know, the same color, but then they have to wear certain brands or only so many of certain brands. And it's gotten to that, you know, that they got a guy that has to come out and check what shoes they're wearing. Some of them, they pump them up. Some of them, they cover the name. Some of them, they don't cover the name. That's gotten to be big, big business.
Oh, yeah. I remember, I hate to keep going back to I remember when, but we were lucky to have one pair of shoes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, then if you ever lost a cleat, some guy'd have to go run around and find a cleat to fix up your shoe. And now they got shoe police.
1st and 10, DeBerg's fake is a good one. He hits Byers for another Dolphin first down. The one before was to Jackson, the ex-Eagle. This one to Byers, the ex-Eagle.
You know, and that's how the play fake works. When you go to the play fake, you hold the linebackers, then you bring someone across, and they try and get in that hole where the linebackers would have been, and that's what Keith Byers did.
On first down, the give is to Higgs. Higgs spins to about the 20. Looked like he might get more for a moment, stopped by Corey Raymond.
Yeah, there's a guy who, you know, you wonder how do you stay in this league and long enough to win 327 games. And
well, I thought the answer he gave you yesterday was perfect.
Yeah, because I couldn't understand it. I mean, he says that, you know, if you can't control something, you forget about it and just go on to the next thing. And I was never able, I always worried about things I couldn't control.
Key word being just forget about it. That's hard to do. DeBerg, first down to Byers. Ball is loose. The Giants are saying they've got it, and they do. They just snatched it out of there. Corey Miller removed the ball from Byers.
That's what all defensive players do so well now. I think the guy on the other side, Lawrence Taylor, was probably the first guy that taught everyone that move. Watch Byers 41. He's running an option cut. See now, Miller has that hand on there, and he's working and working it. But it was Lawrence Taylor that really knocked it loose, because Corey Miller had his hand on it, and Taylor come in and whap, and he threw a shoulder in Byers, and I think that loosened the ball up for Corey Miller to get.
Miller came away with it. 1st and 10, Giants at their own 15. Sims gets to Hampton. Hampton is hit behind the line. 7-7 score. Marco Coleman led the defenders.
Marco Coleman got that one sack, and now I think he's starting to get a little confidence. He has a little group there. Marco's madmen. They're starting to get a little deal going here.
Jackson. First down and more.
Now there's all the talk about the Giants after they lost Mike Sherrard, which was a big loss for the Giants. But this guy right here, Mark Jackson, has become Phil Simms' go-to guy. And you know, when you talk to Simms, every time he talks about Mark Jackson, he talks about him with confidence. You know, that he's the guy he looks for. He said he's strong, he's quick, he can get open. And he said, I really feel good when I'm looking for Mark Jackson.
1st and 10. Sims looking at Jackson again. What a catch by Pierce. Aaron Pierce with one hand. Knocked out of bounds by Braggs.
Bill Sims gives the thumb up. He gives the clap. Watch that win. You want to, again, the first thing you do is throw it away from defender. So it's not going to be knocked down. It's not going to be intercepted. And then if anyone catches this ball, it's going to be your guy. Play pass. He was looking deep. He comes back to Aaron Pierce, throws it where the defense can't get it. Aaron Pierce makes a great catch.
What a catch. 1st and 10. Handoff is to Hampton. Stopped by Dwight Collier. Brian Cox. Second and 8. Giants at the Dolphin 47. Sims to throw it. To Chris Callaway. A Giant first down to about the 33.
You know what they're doing? They're giving Jumbo Elliott some help now. They're bringing Roberts out to help. Watch Jumbo here. Now Rod's the left guard. You see Roberts will come to his left. You see him? As Coleman goes around Jumbo, then Roberts is going to be right there. So Coleman got a sack, but they're not going to let him do it again.
And they go in a hurry on first down. Sims will throw it again. Incomplete, intended for Howard Cross. Hit by Jarvis Williams. Giants offensive effort today, 13 good balance. First of all, 13 and 14 rushes and passes. 65 yards on the ground, most by Rodney Hampton, 116 throwing. Second down. Sims up the middle. Pass is caught by Cross, and that'll be another first down. Jarvis Williams with him, but Cross, big, strong, took it away.
You know, all the fans in this stadium don't look like they're really paying attention to the game the way they should. I mean, this is, 7-7,
Yeah.
two of the teams with the best record. I mean, they ought to be into this thing.
Well, they got to have something to eat. 1st and 10.
Yeah, they're starting to get into it now. I can feel it.
Here's Sims. Across. Touchdown, Giants. From 20 yards out.
I don't know that anyone ever has thrown that pass better than Phil Sims throws it. Remember to Mark Bavaro all those years, that seam pass, that tight end or right down the seam. Just get back there, hold it, maybe pump, maybe look the other way, and throw the pass or right up the field, right in stride. That's a perfect pass. I don't think there's anyone that throws that pass, the seam pass, to a tight end in that position ever but Phil Sims.
That's his 196th touchdown pass in his NFL career. Spreadwell adds the extra point.
Miami tried to strike back quickly before the end of the half, but Steve DeBerg's bomb caught Tony Martin looking, and Mark Collins intercepted for the Giants. So at half-time, they lead 14-7.
Time to get back on the top. Give it to him! Let's get tuned up.
Welcome back. Some excellent football there in the first half from two good teams. Miami's turnovers obviously hurt them, especially Keith Byers' fumble inside the Giants' 15. But the revelation of the first half is how Dan Reeves has opened up the Giants' offense, which, Bob, although it had been very successful running the ball, I think was in danger, Reeves thought, of becoming a bit one-dimensional.
Well, that's true. I mean, you look at a team that is focusing on running the ball, and they have a great running attack. They have a phenomenal running back. But, once teams start to get a look at the computer reports of your offense, it's going to be a little bit easier for them to respond if you're one-dimensional. So I think Dan Reeves decided that he had to open it up a little bit. We see in the first half here that in Miami territory, he decides to go for it on 4th and 1. I mean, this is just, he's kind of opening up his whole mindset about just being more aggressive. You look at the game, and You know, they've got 5 passes to wide receivers. They've got 4 passes to tight ends. They've got 4 passes to running backs out of the backfield. So you see a big diversity in their offense.
Yeah, the kind of pass distribution you associate more with Miami, and it's got them a 14-7 lead at half-time. So let's go to the second half, and Miami had the chance to cut the Giants' lead early in the third quarter. The Giants' special teams evened the blocked field goal count at 1 apiece, and as we pick up the action, they've taken over at their own 15.
First down, Giants. They lead it 14-7. The handoff, fake to Hampton. The handoff, the throw pass from Sims is to Pierce, who stays on his feet. Aaron Pierce to the Dolphin 32-yard line. And Cox finally got him down.
And again, it's that same hole in the defense. You see Cross coming over there to congratulate Pierce, but it was the same pass, the same hole in the defense that Cross had caught for the touchdown. Watch Sims here. Again, he's going a little waggle. Starts out to his left, turns back to his right. He's going to find Pierce right in that hole. He's going to be behind the short guys and in front of the deep guys. And then after that, a missed tackle and a pretty good run by Aaron Pierce.
Pierce weighs about 260. They just bounced off. This is Hampton. Inside the 30. On first down to about the 29. Stopped by Marco Coleman. 2nd and 8. The Dolphins have never lost to a team from the NFC East here at Joe Robbie Stadium. Sims gives to Megan. Still on his feet. Knocked out of bounds at about the Dolphin 20.
Well, the Giants have taken it to him, and the Miami Dolphin defense is a little soft. Plus, the thing that I've been noticing, they've been missing a lot of tackles today. I mean, you know, that first guy there, like they're not getting him. The second guy isn't getting him, and they don't have great pursuit.
And Sims starts Jackson in motion. Gets to Hampton. Hampton down to 15, a flag on the play.
That came from the umpire. The guy was right behind the defensive line, and it's usually holding.
Offense, number 87, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Howard Cross has made some good blocks today, too. I mean, he's really taken Jeff Cross and kind of that side of the line, and a few times he just collapsed that right side of their line.
1st and 20. Sims start Pierce in motion. Handoff inside to Megan. Megan down to about the 22. Light Hollier made the tackle. You know, you're talking about poor tackling before. Well, go ahead, John.
No, Dave Megan is one of those guys, Pat, that can make tackles before he gets to a hole, and then while he's in the hole. Watch, he's in the hole, and he's making tackles right there. There are a lot of runners that make moves before they get into a hole and make moves after they get into the hole, but they don't make them in the hole. He's one of the few that does.
He is split out wide to the right this time with Hampton deep. There's Sims back to throw it. To Hampton, who's hit immediately and hit hard by Dwight Hollier. There's a guy with 2 college degrees. Neither one in hitting.
I'll tell you, that's what they need. I mean, the Dolphins looked when they came out in the second half like they had a little more inspiration, a little more life in them, and the Giants took it out of them. And sometimes you need a hit. I mean, they got a penalty, then you get a big hit, then you could come up with a big sack. Those are the ways that defense can turn games around.
3rd and 9. Cox is showing blitz on the right, and he's coming. And the Dolphins are there. Bruce Alexander.
That was exactly what I was talking about. They get the big hit, then you get the sack, and they knock them out. They were getting ready to go in for a touchdown. They had a penalty, then they get a big hit, and then you get the sack. Watch Alexander. He's coming on a blitz. Make it look like he was going to stop and block him, and then he ran right by him, and Alexander just ran right into Sims.
From 42 yards out, this is Treadwell again. Not valuing so. Treadwell's kick is going to be long enough and is good enough. And the Giant lead is down 10 points. First down, Dolphins. Kirby is the lone setback. Bird back to throw it. Got a man deep. And Irving Fryer came up with a catch. Mark Collins on the coverage, but DeBerg is down.
Well, he hung in there as long as he could. He made a perfect pass. We talked before, if the Dolphins are going to get a big play, it's going to be to Irving Fryer. You watch this overload here. Two outside linebackers outside. They get the block there, and then Corey Miller comes from one side. Keith Hamilton comes from the other side, and they just sandwich him.
And DeBerg got back up. Here's the completion.
This is pretty good coverage here by Collins. He's looking a little too soon. He goes to jump. The ball goes right through his hands. The ball went right between Collins' hands into Irving Fryer.
DeBerg got a little extra color on that jersey now.
Yeah, that'll happen when you become the middle of a sandwich between Corey Miller and Keith Hamilton.
DeBerg is 13 out of 20. Doug Pederson has taken Steve's place as he heads for the locker room. Maybe for another jersey, maybe for a checkup.
I think it has to be for something that he's going to do quickly, because I think he's going to go in and get something done and come right back out. That's not an injury run.
That's Kirby. Straight ahead to about the 38. Stopped by Brooks. Maybe the 39 is where they mark it.
Now they got a trainer running across the field. I think he ran in there by himself with one other guy, and then a trainer just sprinted in. There he goes.
Second down. Anderson back to throw, lost it. I think he got the ball back, but he was sacked. Got hit from behind by Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, he did. And
Corey Miller, excuse me.
And the ball was knocked out, and then it bounced right back into his hands. Watch him. He's looking downfield, looking downfield. Now the ball was knocked out there, and look, it just bounces right back up into his hands. And you were right, it was Lawrence Taylor that knocked it out, and then Corey Miller jumped on top of him.
Third down, 11. Out of the shotgun. Henderson. Incomplete. Keith Jackson, I believe, was the intended receiver, but it was well short.
They have pretty good pass rush here. Watch 74, Eric Howard. He puts a little pressure on him from behind, makes him step up there and bring the ball down. And just that little thing is sometimes the difference between a completion and an incompletion.
So Dale Hatcher will come in to punt for the Dolphins. With 4:27 left in the third quarter. High kick by Hatcher. Meggett signals fair catch at about the 16-yard line. The score, the Giants 17. The Dolphins 7.
Time to get back on the top. Give it to him! Let's get tuned up.
Welcome back. After another Giants punt, Doug Pederson moved the Dolphins into New York territory at the end of the third quarter. And as the fourth got underway, the patched-up Steve DeBerg with stitches in a face wound was ready to go back in.
And so DeBerg with the bandage on his neck or chin is back at quarterback for the Dolphins and going to throw. Intended for Irving Fryer. Incomplete.
I'll tell you, all in one motion. I mean, he ran out of the locker room, down the tunnel, up the field, got the play, into the huddle, dropped back, threw the ball. I don't know how you could be ready for that one. You know, like a minute ago, he was lying on some table and some doctor was putting stitches in him. A minute later, he's throwing an out pattern. I remember one time where he was packing a big voice box. He lost his voice and played with it.
Now here he is back to throw again. Over the middle to Kirby, who is taken down from behind by Michael Brooks at about the 36-yard line of the Giants.
DeBerg probably hasn't even gotten his bearings yet, because he wasn't even sure where he was. You see, Eric Howard there, he had a pulled groin. They taped the groin during the last time out. He tried to play a play, shook his head, and walked off.
They need more. A man came clean. Purdy makes the reception, stretches out for the first down. Don't think he quite got it with the stretch. About 6 inches. It looks as if that's what the Dolphins need. Watch this stretch by Kirby.
Don Shula's team is down by 10 points, so he needs a touchdown and a field goal to tie, or he needs 2 touchdowns to win if the Giants don't score anymore.
Don Shula has made his decision and let it be known to Steve DeBerg, who, by the way, got 5 stitches in his chin during his trip to the locker room. 4th and inches at the Giant 32. Byers gets the first down on a spin to the 30. Canavis McGee made the stop on Byers, but Big Keith got the first down.
And the reason Big Keith got it is because of those short steps that we were talking about before. He's not a long strider, but he always has, like always, both feet in the ground. And there's not a lot to hit there. He hit, and he just had to make one little spin to get the first down.
Right at the Giant 30. Kirby back in the backfield. Byers is to the left. And DeBerg is back to throw it. Intended for Byers, knocked away by Michael Brooks.
Yeah, if there's anyone that this weather is going to affect right now, I think it would be the Giant defense generally, and specifically it would be these big guys right here in front, the defensive line, because they've been rushing, they've been going after DeBerg all day. They've lost Eric Howard. Yeah, it's hot out there. They're sweating the that whole thing, losing fluids, and it's tough to keep pass rushing at that pace.
2nd and 10. DeBerg quickly gets it to Kirby, and Kirby scrambles down, and still scrambling. He's down at about the 21, short of a first down, tripped by Carlton Bailey.
You just look at those front guys. I mean, you can see that this weather is starting to drain them, especially that front group.
Well, Dan Reeves was saying yesterday he thought about that, and so he only has 3 active wide receivers. And he kept an extra defensive lineman for that purpose. 3rd down. DeBerg gets it to Kirby inside the 10 to the 5. Greg Jackson finally tripped him up, but you can see it wearing on that defensive unit. Takes me back to that old question we've asked many times. Why don't the guys on offense get tired?
Well, because they know what they're going to do. And if you just watch the defense, but they decided they can't get there with the linemen, so you can see they're putting in their nickel and they're bringing their safeties. They're trying to blitz to get there, and that didn't work. And again, against a 39-year-old quarterback, he's seen everything. You're not going to surprise him.
1st and goal at the 5. Byers can't do much this time, and the ball comes loose again. But he was down.
Watch this. There's Collins now. He knows that you hit and then you get down low. You see number 25, Collins coming. He hit Byers high, and then he said, "Whoa, this won't work. I better get down to it." And then he went down for the ankles.
Just inside the 5. 2nd down. Byers again. Byers. Flag on the play. In that same area where holding often occurs, or is called, I should say.
And from the guy who calls it, the umpire. That has to kill a coach. I mean, when you pass, you kind of expect you're going to get some holding penalties when you're protecting the quarterback. But against the running game, I always thought you should never have a holding penalty. Then you get down there, you're on your goal line, you get that holding penalty, and now you're on the 15-yard line. So now it gets out of Byers' hand, the running game hand, and it goes back into DeBerg's hand, the shotgun and passing.
2nd down at the 15. 2nd and goal from that point. DeBerg looking and has the pass picked off by Greg Jackson. Tried to force it.
And he had time. That was just good coverage. That's one thing about the Giant defense. You put them down here, they can't get much of a pass rush, but they sure know how to use that zone defense, that zone coverage. Just sit and read and be patient.
They just sit right across the goal line.
Now watch what a free safety does. He's just going to come back in the middle and read. You see him here, if we stop it here, he's just reading DeBerg here. Here he is, he's just watching. DeBerg's trying to throw to Jackson there, to Keith Jackson, and he throws it right to Greg Jackson.
So the Giants took over deep in their own territory. This perfectly thrown pass from Phil Simms to Chris Callaway bought them 32 yards. 3 short running plays later, they had to punt. It was a beauty from Mike Horan, though, pinning the Dolphins inside their own 10.
Here's DeBerg. Down, that's perhaps a safety. It is a safety by Hamilton.
Keith Hamilton came, he knew what he had to do, he did it, and then he knew the signal for it. You're going to see Hamilton is right here, he just gets a push, and right here gets DeBerg, number 75. He's really been coming along. See, he's a good pass rusher. He takes Heller, pushes him with his right hand, pushes him with his left hand, then gets a sack, then gives the signal. That'll be 2 points for the Giants. And then Miami has a free kick from the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that makes the score 19-7 Giants.
New York couldn't muster a first down after the free kick and had to punt the ball back to Miami. As we rejoin the game at the 2-minute warning, the Dolphins, with no timeouts left, have driven down to the Giants' 21 and face a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, we see Eric Howard there, number 74. He can't play anymore with a strained groin. We have word that they took Michael Brooks in, Pat, to be x-rayed on his foot. So obviously he's not in there either.
Here's DeBerg. Gets the ball to Tony Martin. That'll be enough for a first down.
I'll tell you, you see 71, Stacy Dillard there? I'll bet you he lost over 10 pounds today.
I'll bet. They go in a hurry, DeBerg does. Gets the ball at the 10-yard line to Terry Kirby. No, to Keith Byers, beg your pardon. There's a flag on the play.
They're going to do it for holding them down. See what you try and do, prevent defense. Miami has no timeouts, so you try and tackle them and hold them down. Well, they call that one on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Give them the business.
Let's see the business.
That looks pretty good there. 2 tacklers.
Unnecessary roughness, number 41, 15-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
I don't know about that. He's just trying to get up.
Yeah, he was trying to get up. I thought they were going to call it on Armstead, Jesse Armstead, who was holding him down. See, he's trying to get up to get back to the huddle. See, Armstead won't let him up, so he just swung his arm. Oh, that's a bad penalty. That's bad. And because Keith Byers is trying to get back to the huddle, Armstead's trying to hold in there. I don't know about that one either. That was calling something that didn't happen.
A minute 29 left to play as DeBerg goes back to throw it. This is incomplete. Almost picked off by Willie Beeman. There's Jesse Armstead, who was holding Byers or trying to hold him down. A minute 24 left. DeBerg might have pulled him offside with that cadence, but he'll have a free play. Pass is intercepted in the end zone by Mark Collins. But the Giants, I think, jumped offside.
That's right, and even Dan Reeves said that that's when he does it. Anytime you get 3rd and long, DeBerg's going to make you jump.
Offside, number 57, 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
He said they do it 2 times, 3rd and long and 3rd and short. Looked like on this one, when DeBerg gave it, everyone jumped. You see the 2 outside guys, they get in there first. They get in the neutral zone, and that's when they blew the whistle.
DeBerg out of the shotgun. Kirby back with him. Touchdown Dolphins. O.J. McDuffie came down with it. Now, no, incomplete. He didn't come down with it.
Again, DeBerg throwing it where either McDuffie's going to catch it or no one's going to get it. He leads them, gets it up in the air. McDuffie has it there, but doesn't come down with it.
Gotta have both feet down with it. And he could manage that. 4th and 15. Flag on the play will stop the clock at 1:09.
Delay. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
Game.
Remain 4th down.
Against the Dolphins, the game clock remains at 1 minute and 9 seconds. 4th down now.
As amazing as Don Shula is, you don't have a play for this one, Pat, when you're 4th and 20 and you're 2 touchdowns down.
Who does?
And no timeouts and 1 minute 9 on the clock. I would rather be in that guy's shoes.
4th and 20, and DeBerg goes back to throw it. He's got to loft it into the end zone with 2 guys. Batted into the air. And it is a touchdown. Maybe he did have one. Tony Martin came down with the rebound.
That was the play. That was
Yeah.
it. That's why he's won 327 games. You throw it up in the end zone there in a prevent defense. Your guy just dropped one, and now he's going to catch it.
19-13.
This is a Hail Mary 4th down against a prevent. You get in, you jump ball, you try and knock it up in the air. Everyone was in there. McDuffie was back off to the side, or Tony Martin was back off to the side, and he caught it for the touchdown.
Stoyanovich for the extra point. And it's good. 19-14.
Now you can make that argument against the prevent defense.
Yep.
And now you better watch out your onside kick. Now this becomes the biggest play.
1 minute, 1 second left to play.
Enough time for Miami to score another touchdown, even with no timeouts left. But first, they had to get the ball back into the hands of Steve DeBerg. And their only chance of doing that, of course, was to line up to try to recover the onside kick.
Now ready. They got the bounce. The scramble is on. The Giants in front of their bench say they got it. And the Giants come up with a ball. The ball behaved exactly like you'd like it to behave with that high bounce.
That's what you wanted to do, as you say. You wanted to take a couple of little ones. Little one, little one, little one. Then you wanted to take a big one right there. Right over that whole bunch of guys. Then it gets back there. It looked like the Dolphins had it. Then McCaffrey jumped on it.
So no miracle finish for the Dolphins this week as NFC East beats AFC East.
To say this is a big win would be an understatement. I mean, it was a win that we knew was going to be tough coming in here, and I can't give our players enough credit. They really laid it on the line for 60 minutes and played as hard as they could.
The usual original post-game thoughts there from Dan Reeves, but I think just as importantly as playing hard, the Giants played error-free football, no turnovers. And when you think of Keith Byers' fumble in the first half and Greg Jackson's interception of Steve DeBerg in the second, both down inside the red zone, Bob, that was probably the difference in this game.
Right. Well, turnovers can play a big part in any football game. But when you're talking about two teams that quite possibly could be the 2 Super Bowl contenders, at that talent level, it's going to come down to turnovers. If you're the one giving the ball away, you're really doing yourself a disservice, and it's going to make it very difficult to win. So with Miami giving away a couple of turnovers against a highly motivated, highly energized Giant football team, you had to see it was going to go in the Giants' favor.
Okay, so the Giants stay a game up at least on the Dallas Cowboys, who play later tonight against Philadelphia. Miami drop a game, though, in the AFC East. To see whether the Bills caught up with them, let's go to the roundup. Both these teams were coming off losses. The Bills, an honourable one at Kansas City. The Raiders, an embarrassment against the Bengals. And with coverage like this, it's easy to see how it happened. Art Shell's defence momentarily losing the 6'7" Pete Metzelaars. Buffalo capitalised on the 51-yard gain. Thurman Thomas going over 1,000 yards for the 5th straight season and eventually over the goal line. Phil Simms' old rival for the Giants' quarterback job, Jeff Hostetler, had a good day. So did Tim Brown, 183 yards receiving. If you think the Bills' DBs respect his speed, look how deep they play him. That 37-yard catch and run took the Raiders down to the 11. And with Buffalo's coverage a little tighter inside the red zone, Hoss took it in himself. The Bills led 14-10 at half-time, but in the second half the Raiders came back, and And in the fourth quarter, Hostetler hit Brown again, this time for the TD and a 1-point lead. The Bills did get the ball back, but their chances of tying Miami were fumbled away by Thurman Thomas, and the Raiders held on by a point.
I know in this locker room, and we talked after the game was over, we're going to pull together.
Two of the Raiders' AFC West rivals met in San Diego, and in a low-scorer, Denver's Wade Phillips gambled on the fake field goal. Linebacker Dave Wyman taking the little shovel pass and going in for his first ever touchdown. The Chargers had the last laugh, though. With the game tied at 10, John Carney won it with the real thing to keep San Diego's season alive.
I noticed when I was here, whoever the enemy coach was, whether it was Chuck or Sam or Marty, they really treated him terrible. So I expect to get treated like that today.
Jerry's Houston homecoming actually went well for just over a half as the Falcons built a 14-6 lead. Then the Oilers crashed the proceedings. Warren Moon with a great throw off his back foot to Webster Slaughter made it 14-13. Then the defense moved in for the kill. William Fuller's vicious hit on Bobby Hebert knocked the ball loose. And Ray Childress recovered in the end zone for a 2014 lead. 6 interceptions later, Hebert was done, and so were the Falcons, as Houston steamrolled them the rest of the way.
Anytime you have 7 turnovers, you have to give the other team credit for causing some of those.
I mean, the score probably should have been worse, you know, but I guess our team itself, you know, we kept ourselves somewhat in it, you know, and it just kind of got out of hand at the end.
Eric Pegram leading the league in body hair there. Well, the answer to that question was Vinny was still on the sidelines as the Browns tried to snap a 4-game losing streak, and Todd Philcox opened up with a touchdown pass to Michael Jackson. Then the Browns defense declared open season on Saints quarterback Wade Wilson. New Orleans had no answer to Cleveland's pass rush, and Wilson went down sacked a total of 9 times. Vinny did make an appearance, flexing his injured shoulder to deliver Michael Jackson's second touchdown catch of the day, before taking himself out of the game in the fourth quarter. But mark this win down to the Browns defense. The only passing combination more frequent than Brett Favre to Sterling Sharp these days is Brett Favre to anyone in an opponent's jersey. The Bears' Dante Jones had the presence of mind to